Good morning. New Mexico, 1965. I was 10 years old. I lived up in the East Mountains. Uh, I guess a little farther than Terrace Canyon up in City Hill. Back then, my dad was building a house. He worked in construction. He never had the money to finish the house. We couldn't afford to drill a well. We didn't have running water. We didn't have bathrooms. Being in construction, sometimes he made decent money, sometimes hardly any. So many times I found myself making what I was my favorite back then. I kid my wife Sherry about that, is fried bologna sandwiches. But then never had mayonnaise. We always had Miracle Whip, and I just could never stand that crap. Anyway, my mom was a good cook, and sometimes she threw together some fantastic meals, and I really still remember them. I also remember helping my dad in construction too. He had a lot of people come up from Mexico that helped him. They were the only people he could find uh, back then, um, and they helped build many homes. They went and picked many crops. I'm sure that's one reason we have the finest green chili around, is we have people to go pick those crops. Life was tough then, but it was good. We couldn't afford much. I know there wasn't the Walmarts. There wasn't a bunch of restaurants. We hardly ever got to go to a restaurant. And when we did, it was a big deal. If we ever traveled to Albuquerque and managed to go to a Kmart, man, that was really awesome. Or even a real big deal was to be able to walk through the Mall of Winrock, which no longer really exists. Of course, never had any money to spend. Fairly broke. I had a rich aunt that spent me $1 or sent $1 to me as a birthday present every year. But anyway, the point of this broadcast is I am so sick about hearing about the borders. I know it's a problem. I know we need to fix a lot of things. But a lot of these people that came over the border from not only Mexico, but from Italy, from other places, they made America great. They built America. They helped build our highways. They worked in the coal mines. They picked our crops. And a lot of them still do a fine job. I know I would trust my doors wide open to a maid that cleaned my house that was from Mexico. And so many of this young generation that are just plain outright lazy, they don't want to work, but they complain. And then everybody claims, I want to vote for Donald Trump. He's going to make America great again. Well, excuse me, but I think America's great. And it's always been great. And I think people just need to get out there and work and make a life for themselves. And I get sick and tired of hearing that. Oh yeah, we got a guy called me I've known for years. I really like the guy and everything, and I'm really in the middle on politics. I kind of hate both sides for a lot of reasons. But he says, are you voting for that piece of crap woman Harris, and are you going to vote for the good guy Trump because he's going to make America great again? Bullshit, excuse my language. America's great already. And when I hear people say, I support our police departments, I support our fire departments, I support our troops. Bullshit. You just say those words, but you really don't support jack shit. So I'm sorry, a lot of people think I'm an asshole, but I just call it the way it is. I love people. I'll do anything for anybody. If I see a homeless person, I'll go buy them a meal if I have to. And I know seeing all these homeless camps around is really troublesome, but it's not their fault. It's a society fault. that we don't really get down and deal with the problem instead of sticking a Band-Aid on it. And, you know, I get tired of hearing this entitled American say, oh, it's so rough for me. Well, don't go out and buy your $1,000, $1,500 cell phone. Don't go buy your fancy computer or iPad. Don't pay for your $100 a month internet and cable. You know, and further, don't go out and spend all this money going out to eat all the time. But you know, we have it lucky. We have it lucky to have all the Texas Roadhouses, having the Walmart, which was never around when I was a kid, having Costco, Sam's, Amazon. Myself, I get lazy and I thought, well, I really can't get out to go buy pet food, so I'm going to get on PetSmart's web and I'm going to order some pet food, and they're going to deliver it the same day within a couple hours for free. What kind of... That's pretty awesome. People get on Amazon and they order all kinds of cool stuff. They complain, all the time about China, but they don't realize a lot of stuff they're getting real cheap from China. They're getting real cheap from China. And some of the quality isn't good and some of it's okay. But you complain, and then good old Donald Trump, which I don't think he's a Republican. He was a Democrat before. He isn't for the Republicans, the conservatives, or the Democrats. He's for himself. He wants to be in power so he can rule America, so he can do whatever he wants. But I'm telling you, folks, everybody, including myself, are entitled, and America is already great. If we don't watch our step, we're going to make America bad. And if you want to go trust a man like Donald Trump, who we're going to put in control of having his finger on the nuclear button, or top secret documents that he might just decide to trade with Putin, you know, that's scary. I truthfully can't tell you a lot about Harris, except she acts like a real human being. And you know, I'm sure she has her skeletons in her closet and she has secrets and this and that. But she isn't off the damn chart. Why are you all that I love you? You're my friends, you're my family out there. I love you all. What has gotten into your head that you think Donald Trump's going to make America great again? Because it's already great. You know, people in Russia, before Putin decided to start that war with Ukraine, they had malls, they had McDonald's. Life for everybody wasn't great in Russia like it isn't here in the United States. A lot of people have it rough. But a lot of people had it really good in Russia. And it's gone. Is that the kind of leadership you want? Because Donald Trump admires Putin. He admires that dictatorship. And if you're going to fall for that, man, I don't know what to say. As far as New Mexico goes, the Electoral College, it's already decided. It doesn't matter who I vote for because it's going to be a blue state. So that's another pet peeve I have is, okay, get rid of the Electoral College and make everybody's vote count. Instead of, oh, it's either going to be Pennsylvania or it's going to be Georgia or it's going to be that blue belt or it's going to be this or that. You know, it's sickening. It's sickening. Even if I think the popular vote should decide who's going to be president. And if it's not the person I chose, I'm going to live with it because that's what the people want. But now you're not going to get what you're not going to get what you want. You're going to get what you're force-fed. And one of these days, if we keep this political division going on, America's going to die. If we don't get our heads together and say, well, I hate all Republicans and I hate all Democrats, I had a guy the other day that I did a lot of work for free, and he says, you know, all Democrats are crooked, and you know that Kamala caused that hurricane to happen in Florida. Bullshit. And you know, if there's a crooked Democrat around, I'd just soon throw them out than anybody else. I don't just vote red or vote blue. I look at the person. And now you are looking at a person that is very dishonest. I've spent years doing research on Donald Trump. And he's not a good guy. He's a bad guy. He's went bankrupt several times. He bankrupted his university, casinos. He got in hot water with feds the way he was treating black people in New York. He was in bed with a New York mafia. Jesus Christ. And he's been convicted. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, that was a witch hunt. Even though he was convicted in a United States court of law by jurors, it was just a witch hunt. He's not guilty of nothing. So how's that going to look to other countries that we elected a convicted felon? How's that going to look for president? What are other countries going to say? Even if now President Trump makes that all go away, it's not going to go away in the minds of Putin and all the other leaders around the world. It's going to be shame on us. Shame on us to let somebody like him become president, when if he went to, in Albuquerque, like we got a lot of federal labs here, Sandia Labs, Los Alamos Labs, some big companies like Intel. Do you think they would, if Trump was a private citizen and wanted a job with him, they would give him a job? No. No, they wouldn't. He isn't employable. He's a criminal. He's got a long past of sexual assault of women, just whatever. But that appears to what Americans want. They want somebody that is crooked. They want somebody that's a criminal, somebody that has no morals. You know, I wish Arnold Schwarzenegger was running for president, but he can't because he's not a citizen. He'd make a hell of a good president. I wish anybody but Donald Trump was running the Republican ticket. At least they'd have a little common sense upstairs and not just say, oh, I could shoot somebody in the middle of the road and people will still vote for me. Or he can call people retarded, which is he did it, it's a fact. Or he can do this or that. He can say hateful stuff about people that haven't done anything to him. And he gets away with it. Oh, we love him. The more hate he has, the more crap he does, the more we want him for president of the United States. What does this country come to? Do you want to make America great again, or do you want to destroy America by voting for this man? Anyway, this is the very first ever podcast deal I've ever done. And I've had so much anger, not for myself, but for America, for my kids, my grandkids, my great-grandkids, my friends. The girl that lived with us from Katya from Ukraine when she went to the high school exchange program here, yeah, I worry about her. Everybody says, oh, I don't give a shit about Ukraine. Give it to Russia. The Ukrainian people have a lot of pride. They've gone through a lot. When Stalin tried to starve them to death, that country's seen everything rough. And you know what? America's going to see that someday if you all don't get your effing asses together and cut this bullshit out. This division, our politicians meeting in the middle and coming up with compromises. Yeah, you know, you're worried about abortion. You're worried about all the people sneaking up over the border. You're worried about the drugs, and the drugs are a serious problem on my mind too. But that ain't going to mean nothing when the mushroom cloud goes up because we're doomed. And you know what? That's my prediction. If we don't get it together, no matter what president gets elected, the end times are coming, man, and that's my prediction. I probably won't be around to see them, but they're heading this way. You better all take it serious. Anyway, that's all I got to say today, and I'm going to get on my YouTube channel and start doing a lot of podcasts. I'm sure I'm going to piss off a lot of people. And you know who I'm really going to piss off? I'm not real religious, but how could all these Christians, all these churches, support Donald Trump? It's beyond me. If Jesus Christ stepped on this earth today, he would shake his head and say, hey, I don't have a ticket for any of you going to heaven. Because he's definitely borderline evil person, Donald Trump is. So anyway, you all have a great day and happy voting, and vote your will, vote your mind, vote who you think is going to be the best man. And God have mercy on our country.